Skyrim is back, ladies and gentlemen. Skyrim Special Edition has been released and the modding community has pretty much exploded into action, releasing a lot of our old favourites. And that is what I'm going to look at in this video. Some of the old favourites, some of the great mods that I'm thinking of trying in Skyrim Special Edition. Looking at the top list of Skyrim Special Edition mods is pretty much like looking at some top mods for Skyrim. An awful lot of the old favourites, in fact mostly old favourites. And because the Skyrim Special Edition is still basically the same game as Skyrim, it does come with probably most of the same bugs and glitches, and therefore the unofficial Skyrim Special Edition patch is probably one I'm going to be keeping my eye on. It is early days, I'm sure a lot of the bugs are very similar and fixed the same way. I have noticed a few issues in the comments section. They are working on it to basically address any new issues that have arisen because it's the special edition, but I have a feeling once I start playing the game, this is probably one of the essential mods I will install. In second place we have Static Mesh Improvement Mod, or SMIM. Brumbeck is back, thankfully, fixing some of the horrible meshes and models Skyrim had. This is one of the mods I covered in the Skyrim Mod Sanctuary, and if you actually want to see all the details, I would recommend watching that video, because in fact the mod is pretty much unchanged. He's just ported it over. All of the models are improved. If you want some quick idea as to what on earth the problem was with the old models, you only have to look at things like the chains on hanging signs. It's probably not something you will have noticed before, but trust me, you will never be able to not notice it from now on. If you go to the side of these chains, you realise they are just microscopically thin discs rather than actual rings that look like they would support the weight of a sign. They are paper thin. When you look at models like this from a distance, they don't seem too bad, but the closer you get, the less realistic these items look. The same is true for things like ropes that are attached to logs like this. As you can see, it has no depth. It is painted on, and at a distance it doesn't look too bad. It fools you, but the closer you get, again, the more unrealistic it begins to look. Now look at it with SMIM installed. You can immediately see it has depth. It looks like a rope. At a distance it still looks better, but up close it is a hell of a lot better. And as you can see, chains now look three-dimensional. They actually look like they're made of metal rings, and well, they just look a hell of a lot better. Overall, this mod definitely made Skyrim look a hell of a lot better. It changed a lot of meshes, a lot of models. I'm not even going to talk about 99% of them. If you want to see more about this, I will link to the video I did for the Skyrim version, but it just overall is a massive improvement. Of course, it will reduce performance a little bit in all probability, but you know what? Definitely worth it in my opinion. Oh, Wet and Cold, how I missed you. This is one of those must-have mods for me. This is the mod that adds effects to the game that actually make it look like it's either raining or it is in fact freezing cold. As you can see here, you can see my breath and the horse's breath come out in this frigid air, and it really does make it look quite a lot more realistic. Now, I'm not going to go into too many details about what it adds, because again, this is one of those mods I have covered before. I will leave links to the videos I've done on this mod. I believe it's been a few actually, but I will say this is one of those mods that I almost can't imagine playing without. Now, at the time of making this video, we still don't have the footprints mod, and I can't tell you how much I miss that. It looks wrong running around the snowy mountains of Skyrim are not leaving footprints. That mod is, again, another one of those ones that you almost don't think about once you've installed, but you really notice it if you don't have access to it. Now, I can tell you that mod is a little more difficult than you might imagine. It is going to involve a little more work porting that across. I am hoping that the mod author manages it. I think he will, but it could take a little time. I also looked into a mod I used called Splash, which apparently was merged into an overall weather effects mod called Wonders of Weather. That has not yet been ported over to the special edition, but from comments the mod author made on the page, I have high hopes it will be. Unsurprisingly, one of the first things I thought when I saw Wet and Cold was, oh my god, has Frostfall been ported over? And the answer is yes. There is still some functionality missing, I think. It's probably going to require Sky UI and SKSE, but the basic principles, the basic mod is over, so you can have that sort of hardcore camping survival style game, which of course I absolutely will. If you want to know details about Frostfall, I'm assuming not much has changed, but I've done a video on this mod for Skyrim and it's probably mostly relevant. However, because this mod has been split up now into two mods from the looks of things, I may relook at it, and if much has changed, that's one of the ones that may get a new video sometime in the future. I can also say I looked for Winter is Coming and the Cloaks of Skyrim. They were not yet ported across, although there was one cloak mod already for special edition. That of course is something that goes really well with a lot of the mods I've already talked about. Working my way down the top 10 list, I came across Ordinator, Perks of Skyrim, which is obviously an overhaul for the perk system. Now, in my last playthrough for Skyrim, I used Skyri, and I was testing Percus Maximus a little. This is one of the types of mods I'm going to want in my playthrough, but I'm actually very out of touch with regards this sort of thing. So this is one of those areas where I really am looking for quite a lot of feedback. I know there was a very popular overhaul mod called Requiem. I don't know if that's still current. I will be doing a little research and reading up on various mods of this type, but if you want to give me some suggestions down below, you are more than welcome. In 10th place, I noticed Immersive Sounds Compendium, which is an audio overhaul for Skyrim Special Edition. Now, in my Skyrim playthrough, I was using a mod called Audio Overhaul for Skyrim 2, and I really did like that mod. So I am looking for an audio overhaul mod of some sort. Skyrim Special Edition sound does sound pretty muted in comparison to my modded Skyrim. So I tested out Immersive Sounds and I did like what I heard overall. The footsteps were very audible, especially in heavy armor, and you could control the volume of them via a slider, which was a good thing to see because of course some people are not going to like that. The sounds of combat sounded a little more, I don't know, a little more energetic.
What are you doing? Hey! Stop that! You're pushing
The spells had been changed. I really quite liked some of the spell sounds.
Got something.
In the description for this mod, you can see that literally thousands of sounds have been replaced, which means I'm going to have to do a lot of testing, a lot of comparisons, side-by-side comparisons, to really know how much has changed and to what level it will impact the gaming experience. In fact, I think this is one of those mods where I will probably have to play for several hours under real circumstances, not just testing, but really play to truly understand what it adds to the game. And I think I'm going to leave it there for this video. In the next episode, I'm either going to look at some weather mods or water mods. Those are two types of mods that really do need a second look, I think. It's not enough to see how they work in the original Skyrim because, of course, two things that have changed in Skyrim Special Edition are the way the lighting works and the way the water flows. So those will definitely need a second look. So that's probably what I am going to do. It's on my long list of things to compare and contrast. So if you're interested in that, I look forward to seeing you on the next video. And until then, remember, as always, have fun. If you're curious as to whether I've covered a mod in one of my videos, feel free to go along to my website gophersvids.com and check the search functionality out. Just type the name of the mod you're interested in, open up the settings and filter by mods only. Click for search and you will see whether or not I've covered that mod. Click on the mod and it will also show you any of the videos this mod appears in.